Joseph was the second youngest of 12 brothers born to Jacob. Jacob was called Israel. Now Israel loved Joseph more than any of his other sons, because he had been born to him in his old age, and he made an ornate robe for him. When his brothers saw that their father loved him more than any of them, they hated him and could not speak a kind word to him. The same passage also discusses two dreams Joseph had that angered his brothers. The dreams indicated his brothers would someday bow to him. Joseph's brothers also despised him due to their father's obvious favoritism towards Joseph. One day, Joseph traveled to check on his brothers while they were watching their sheep. His brothers plotted against him, threw him into an empty well, and later sold him as a slave to some traveling Midianites. Applying animal blood to his ornate robe, they returned home and made Jacob believe his son had been killed by wild animals. In the meantime, Joseph was taken to Egypt and sold to the captain of the guard, Potiphar, as a household slave. Joseph was later falsely accused of attempting to violate Potiphar's wife and was thrown into prison. While in prison, Joseph accurately interpreted the dreams of two of Pharaoh's servants who were also incarcerated. Later, Pharaoh had a disturbing dream no one could interpret. One of the servants Joseph had previously helped then suggested to Pharaoh that Joseph could interpret the dream. Joseph was summoned from prison, and he interpreted Pharaoh's dream in such a powerful way that he was appointed second in command over Egypt. Pharaoh's dream predicted 7 years of famine. During the famine, Joseph's older brothers came to Egypt to buy food. They did not recognize Joseph, now 20 years older, and he treated them harshly, pretending that he thought they were spies. Joseph kept one brother in prison until the others brought their youngest brother, Benjamin, back to Egypt to prove they were not spies. They brought Benjamin with them on a return trip, and after a series of twists that included his brothers bowing before him in fulfillment of Joseph's dream of long ago, Joseph revealed himself to his brothers. They were shocked, yet soon glad to be reunited. Joseph sent word for the entire family to join them in Egypt until after the famine. Later, when their father Jacob died, Joseph's brothers feared that Joseph would take revenge against them for their prior treatment of him. They came to Joseph and begged for his forgiveness, appealing to a request their father had made before he died. Joseph wept when he heard their appeal. Revenge was the last thing on his mind. Joseph said to them, "Don't be afraid. Am I in the place of God? You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives." In the story of Joseph and his brothers, we see the themes of forgiveness, the father-son bond, sibling rivalry, brotherly love, God's sovereignty, and God's greater good in times of suffering. Just like Joseph, we are called to forgive those who have offended us and see life's experiences as part of God's plan to help us serve others.